Hey everyone, finish watching the next episode of Power Rangers Mystic Force, Scaredy Cat. Phineas comes to Root Core. He has a toothache and wants the Rangers' help. They dress Phineas up and try to take him to a dentist. On their way, they see Lily running around screaming about trouble in the beach cave. They hand Phineas off to Toby, who happens to be nearby, and go to deal with the trouble in the cave. Phineas tells Toby he's Xander's distant relative from Europe and then asks if he can eat cars. Toby tries to keep Phineas from eating a nearby car's tires. It's funny, I just don't know, where this gag came from. Phineas is a troll-goblin hybrid from a magical forest, and he thinks cars look edible? The Rangers go inside the cave and find a mummified body next to a lamp with a Mystic Force symbol on it. Necroli comes in and takes the mummy away with her. At Root Core, the Rangers free a genie from the lamp. The genie is a giant white cat, Genji. Chip wishes for 10 wishes, and Genji says that nullifies any other wishes. I'm curious if that's true, or if Genji just doesn't actually have wish-granting abilities. I'm kind of leaning towards Genji doesn't actually have the ability to grant wishes at all, and he's just making this up, but it's really hard to tell sometimes with how everything is presented here. In the underworld, Necroli revives the mummy. She pledges loyalty to him immediately. Lily is skeptical about the mummy. She doesn't think much of him. The mummy takes offense at her attitude and turns her into a bug. Okay. Meanwhile, Phineas is being looked over by a dentist. The dentist is a bit eccentric. I'm not really sure what exactly the story is with him. He's pretty weird. At Root Core, Genji gives some advice on how to hatch the Fireheart's egg. The Rangers detect a disturbance and take Genji with them to check it out. They encounter the mummy, Imperious. Genji runs away. Imperious grows, and the Rangers call the Megazord. Genji eventually overcomes his fear and goes to help the Rangers. Genji reveals an ability to grow Zord-sized. Imperious retreats. The Rangers head to the record shop, and a little tree frog watches them for some reason. In the shop, they see Phineas playing around. He and Toby have become friends. At Root Core, the Rangers introduce Genji to Udana. To their surprise, she recognizes him. Inside, the Fireheart egg hatches. The baby dragon inside looks at Claire and calls her mama. This episode is pretty fun, but its pacing is way too fast. I think this episode may have been a victim of the new shorter episode count, as many things are quickly rushed through without being given any time to settle. I like the B story with Phineas going to the dentist. Quirky character humor is definitely one of Mystic Force's strengths, and this situation fits well. Phineas and Toby have a fun dynamic. The Jake Bonebreaker standee makes a cameo. I'm glad to see it stuck around. Necroli reviving and immediately bowing down to Imperious is odd. Isn't Necroli supposed to be Queen of the Vampires? Why doesn't she just assume command herself? Why is she so insistent on being subservient? Also, what about the Master? The big red eye in the floor. Is reviving Imperious what the Master wanted? Genji's introduction is oddly casual. He's going to be a major character from this point on, but his first appearance is pretty abrupt and unremarkable. In comparison, his Magiranger counterpart's introduction comes with an entire musical number, far more memorable than just appearing and immediately settling in. Genji's wish-granting abilities are quickly pushed aside, and while it kinda works as a gag, it's also a bit lazy feeling. I think there was a better choice available of how to limit his powers. I mean, this is a season all about magic. Surely there's, obscure rules or some kind of thing you can use to limit Genji's abilities. It doesn't come down to, oh, well, technically I can't grant your wishes now because you wished for wishes. Imperious is already a far better villain than Mordecai. He has a personality, and his backstory is intriguing. How did he end up a mummy in a cave, and why was he near Genji's lamp? Udana knows Genji, and that's interesting. She asks him if he knows where Bowen is. Who could Bowen be, an old ally of theirs? Fireheart hatches and imprints on Claire as its mother. This scene was especially rushed, and I feel like this probably could have been a whole episode in its own. As it is, it feels kind of tacked on to an episode already full of stuff going on. So yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Blah 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 blah. Phineas?